roofing contractors, storm restoration contractors, homeowners who have recently got their roofs denied. Stick around. I'll show you how the industry's best professionals document damage to be presented to the insurance company regarding denials, partial approvals, and more after this. Doing an inspection here in a Yukon storm that happened in early May, getting my chalk ready, getting my cougar paws on. We're gonna start from the left to the right. So take a picture of the front of the house. Then we're going to start with the left of the house, going to the right, looking for damage to the window screens, to the gutters and downspouts. There's some splash guards that I'm pointing out there. Now, one of the things that I noticed is on this house is that there wasn't damage to the downspouts on the larger portion of it, but on the kick out. So I'm getting that. Now showing damage to the garage door trim and to the panels on the overhead doors. So you really want 3 out of 4 of those panels, but we found 2 of them. Getting a photo of that right elevation and now going over to check that stain. Look, didn't seem like there was any, so I'm gonna go back over to where the right elevation's at, getting a photo of that, now showing where we're at on the proximity of the house. The exterior door is damaged, double checking the AC unit. A lot of people will look at the outside, but I oftentimes will find it on the inside. There is not any damage to the screen portion of this, but we did find it in the frame. So take an overview of that elevation one more time, showing the downspout, going to the back elevation there, and getting a photo of the rear elevation, or back elevation as I like to call it. Gonna check on the window screens, no damage to that one, but there is in the frame there. So showing that by using arrows and describing in the photo report. More damage to downspouts, taking a photo, looking again, more window screens. Homeowner luckily pointed out to me that there was damage to the glazing, or actually the window. We're not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to get with the window subcontract professional to ask how to get that fixed in order to prepare for the estimate. And then of course gonna go over here on this left elevation now, working my way over to the roof. Gonna check on that window. A lot of times that's a bathroom window to the shower, showing damage if there is any. Usually not there wasn't in that instance. Now going up to the roof, taking a Gatorade break before getting up to the roof. It's hot outside, staying hydrated. You can see why I wet the chalk now. Gonna check on the starter synthetic underlayment. It's present on this roof. As soon as I get up there, you can obviously notice that there's damage to the W valleys, and showing it here with the adjusters, how to explain to the adjusters that 3 foot on each side is gonna have to be compromised while we're doing it. Same thing with these penetrations or pike jacks, which are painted, by the way. That's an important note when you're estimating. So you can see all those areas where you've got W valleys, you've got penetrations, damage to the ridge cap. So a large portion of this roof is being compromised. When you're doing the repairs to those metal accessories, you can see how significant the hail damage was. I think 2.5 to 3 inch, maybe even bigger. So that whole section right there on each one of those vents is going to have to be pretty much removed and replaced, including the shingles, not just the vents. Good thing I got my cougar paws on, because we're about to be doing a test square. Sometimes getting into that test square, you're going to find it pretty difficult once you're getting into the middle of a steep roof. There's some good damage to that ridge cap that I'm pointing out. I'm going to mark out my test squares. It's something that a lot of people will not do, but it does show professionalism. That is what the insurance companies like to see. So we're going to, kind of accommodate that as much as we can to show also Here's our test square. There's damage within this test square. Now the damage to this roof isn't manifesting as much because this is a very new roof. It was installed just 1 year ago. So I've got 5 on the front, but here's the deal, that there's fracture to that matting, and I'm about to get into that whenever I'm showing on this test square. This is to the left elevation, marking my damages, showing that I like to make it underline sometimes whenever there's a really good one. That one is a particularly good hail hit. Once we pull that shingle, if we were to pull the shingle, then there would be almost certainly a fractured matting to that, which is something that an engineer is good for. So might have to get an engineer, might even have to get a attorney on this. But that's something that I prep the homeowners. So at the end of the inspections, we'll go over that with the homeowner, as I'll show you later on in the video. Getting back over to the other elevation, what is this one going to be? I think the right side. So marking out the test square again, it's tedious, it's mundane, but we're doing it anyways. Ran out of my yellow chalk. Good thing I got more chalk on hand. I wasn't finding much damage to this, or at least easily enough. So gonna look for my penetrations. There's some metals showing another damage to it. This one was certainly the least affected side, so there's no reason to, make the damage any more drastic than what it already is. So that one, we just got 4 hits on each side, but there's still gonna be 2 pipe jacks and a furnace vent that needs to be repaired. So shingles are being damaged in the, repairability factor of this roof. Going over again to the back side, showing that there's W valleys. Basically that whole facet of the roof is going to have to be replaced because, it's too small of a section. So marking out one last time on my test square there, backside elevation or back slope. So that's what the S stands for, marking my damages. This one was probably the worst, I think. Maybe the left side was worse. So you've got 6, and what I want to do is check on the corner there. So I like to have it spread out throughout my test square. And then now we're going to be showing that, hey, look, here's the overview for the estimator. How many pipe jacks, showing that we got a roof going on over that. That's good to bring up to the adjuster. Obviously, there's lots of roofs being replaced in this neighborhood. So that's kind of a signifier that probably this roof is damaged, even though they may not necessarily agree. Coming down off the roof, taking the cougar paws off because I'm about to go into the house, and now we are going to explain to the homeowner our findings. And that's what we do here at Roofing Revenue Group, where we improve profits, get more approvals, and get more sales.